It is my pleasure to invite our General Secretary, Andrea Egan, to address conference. Andrea began her public sector career as a residential care worker supporting vulnerable children, before qualifying as a social worker 17 years ago. She became a union steward over 30 years ago, and during this time has served as Assistant Secretary, Joint Secretary and Secretary of UNISON's Bolton Local Government Branch. She was elected to the Local Government Service Group in 2013 and then on to UNISON's National Executive Council in 2017, serving a term as President of our union in 2022. In December 2025, Andrea was elected General Secretary of UNISON, becoming the first rank and file member to lead the union on a commitment to radically changing the way our union operates, promoting organising and collective strength. Can we give Andrea a warm welcome?
Comrades, friends, delegates, I am so proud to be here with you all today. I have attended dozens of conferences for decades as a grassroots activist and as a delegate. And today, for the first time, it is my privilege and honour to stand here as your General Secretary. And across all of those years, one thing has been the same. Every time I've stepped foot in a UNISON conference hall, it's been as an ordinary member, representing ordinary members, whether it's on behalf of a social worker colleagues, or my Bolton Local Government Branch comrades, or the membership as a whole. It's always been as one of you, and it still is. And that's why me taking up this office was a moment in history for our union. Not an individual accolade or a step up career a step up on the career ladder. It was a collective achievement. I said that right after the election, and I meant it. So no, I'm not taking the full General Secretary's salary. Or disappearing into head office. And I'm taking a social worker's wage and donating the rest to the Industrial Action Fund and the There For You Fund. Comrades, for decades I've been on your side of it, and I still am. And that's how it should be. Because that's what trade unions are meant to be. Nothing. Not being led by the union as something outside of us. No, our movement is about workers coming together and leading ourselves. At every level of the organisation, workplace to national, us leading our own union together. Ordinary members taking control, setting the agenda, fighting for ourselves. Conference. The thing that's been asked of me most often in recent months is, "Oh, Andrea, how's it going?" And my answer is always the same. I tell them, it's going brilliantly. And I'm bloody well excited. You know, sometimes when I say that, some people are taken aback and they find it strange even. Probably because they know transforming UNISON won't be easy. We are a massive organisation where little has changed in a long time, and I've heard that through your debates this morning. But also just looking at the world around us, it's easy to feel down. It's easy to be consumed with doom and gloom. Our wages spread thin at the supermarket and at the petrol station. Our public services and national assets still in a state of ruin. war raging as climate change tips over the edge. But I am excited, and I'll tell you why. We have a massive opportunity in front of us, right here in this hall. A chance to make UNISON the powerhouse it should be. Britain's most powerful working class organisation. Finally, packing a punch that's worth our weight. At last, posing a threat to employers and politicians equal to our size. Winning, not only for members, but for the whole working class. This is the task in front of us, and it is incredibly exciting. Changing UNISON so that we can win for our members and our communities, and then transform the country. And that is a huge challenge, but it is at our fingertips, and it's up to us to do it together. Conference, I became General Secretary on the basis of one clear principle: UNISON members first. So over the past few months, I have been hard at work, beginning the delivery of my manifesto and putting those principles into practice. There's a huge amount to do. I do keep reminding people I've got a 5-year term and I can't do it all in for 6 months. So you have to bear with me. But I have been working hard and I'm proud of what we've already achieved. Like starting to properly support our branches. I know from running a branch for many years the feeling of neglect. The one big aspect of that was the lesser treatment of our branch employed staff, who for years have been denied access. Where we've been denied access to the same resources of other UNISON employees, and that has held branches back. It's held our organising back, and it's held our union back. Well, Conference, I am delighted to report that we're changing that. So our brilliant branch staff are now going to be put on a more equal footing, including access to the organising training the colleagues quite rightly get. And it might sound a bit HR-ish, detail on the surface, but this will quietly grease the wheels of our union, providing you with more direct support for your organising efforts. So we're getting to work. And I would like to thank everybody who's already joined in this collective effort. Members, our staff, our branch leaderships, our NEC reps, our service group leaders, our equality group leaders, and our comrades across the wider trade union movement. Winning for members remains my absolute #1 priority. So when I've met the government, I haven't wasted time chumming around. I haven't asked nicely. I've made clear demands of them. And I've put your demands, our demands, to them directly. At the Treasury, I told the Chancellor that mileage rates had to be reviewed. I told her that not lifting them was public punishment to our members. Robbing you of your own money, thousands of pounds just for you to go about doing your jobs. UNISON has demanded it for many years, but now it's been delivered. The first uplift in mileage rates. However, comrades, that is just the start. There is still some more work to do. I know it's not perfect, but it is a start for us, and we are on at work to now continue with our work on mileage. But there are still plenty of struggles ahead, like our fight to end the abhorrent attacks on our migrant workers and refugees. You know, Conference, I'm not sure whether politicians like the Home Secretary, when they decided to come for our migrants, stripping away rights, deepening the exploitation and dangerously scapegoating, I'm not sure whether they somehow expected we'd just look away. Well, if they did, they couldn't have been more wrong. They wouldn't understand solidarity, the most basic trade union principle. They wouldn't understand it, even if it slapped them in the face. But conference, we do. An attack on one of us is an attack on all of us. And it doesn't matter where we come from or what we look like. Workers stick together. That's why the entire union is full square behind our migrant workers in this fight. So in 10 Downing Street, I gave the Prime Minister a clear message. Shabana Mahood's shameful proposals must be dropped, and they must drop now. Let's be clear, they are a direct attack on our UNISON members. They're a betrayal of our basic values, and they're a wrecking ball for the NHS and our social care system. That's the message I will continue to deliver, tirelessly and fearlessly. This campaign has shown the way for UNISON. It was started by our migrant workers, as you've heard earlier, and it has been led by them. Members setting the union's agenda, not being told what's best for them. And it has then put our union at the front of the struggle against racism in the country, making us a thorn in the side for the so-called Labour politicians who want to pander to it. Shown that attacks on migrants are attacks on the entire working class. I want us to have a massive round of applause and appreciation for our migrant workers. From my heart, I'd say to you, as the new organising group within UNISON, that you are showing us what the new UNISON looks like. And thank you. It was really interesting, my first interaction with migrant workers group when I came into my post and started my term, because they demanded a meeting with me within the first week I was here. And absolutely, I met that demand. And I went to the meeting and they had a long list of things they wanted to tell me. And they then sat there and I just said, right, that's great, when do you want me to do it? And that's where our journey started. I have said, I will stand with you by your side, behind you, in front of you, because your campaign is truly our campaign. Now, conference, you'll sometimes hear that discrimination, hear about discrimination being talked about, and it is though it's a secondary issue, an add-on to our core industrial agenda. Well, let me be really clear, not in this union, not on my watch. Defending our members from discrimination at work and in society at large is top of UNISON's agenda. That's true when it comes to race discrimination, where we now do have a solid plan, where we're going to be implementing the race discrimination inquiry recommendations, guaranteeing we're no longer just reacting to racism once it's happened. Now, we're going to be proactive about organising to prevent it. And it's also true when it comes to our disabled members, where I am absolutely clear about this. Reasonable adjustments, genuine equality of opportunity, and freedom from discrimination are not negotiable add-ons, but human rights that we will always prioritise protecting. And if that means looking internally about what we're doing, then we will do that, and we cannot be afraid to do that. But conference, it's also true when it comes to the tsunami of hatred facing trans people. And I am so proud of our support of our trans community, and it won't change. No matter how much some try to shout us down or bully us out of it, I'm in no doubt about this. The Supreme Court ruling was wrong, and the EHRC guidance is wrong all over again. Let me tell you, conference, for those that don't know, I am a proud auntie to my trans nephew, someone I'm really close with, and someone who I've really understood their journey and the full implications of their journey and the lived trauma that these guidelines bring. And we have to ensure that we lobby MPs hard to reject it. And we will keep fighting to change the unworkable, unjust legislation. Our movement has never just sat down and accepted unjust laws. We fight them, and that's what we're going to do with this. So, comrades, if we're going to get anywhere where we need to be as a union, we need to be honest with ourselves about where we are. And industrially, for a very long time, it simply hasn't been good enough. When we look at how we've performed in national ballots, repeatedly failing to reach the threshold turnout, demoralising members and weakening our bargaining power. And we can't go searching for excuses because there aren't any good ones. We can't normalise that failure, keeping expectations on the floor, and we can't keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. We are the biggest and best resourced union in Britain and the largest public service union in Europe. Winning major ballots needs to become our bread and butter. To get there, to the starting block, we need to massively overhaul our approach. So that's exactly what we're beginning to do. Organising to Win, the brilliant strategy introduced by the NEC in 22 and then endorsed here on this floor by NDC. And now at the heart of all our industrial work. We've already seen the fruits of organising to win in disputes across the country, like our Fair Pay for Patient Care campaign, putting millions back, workers putting millions in their back pockets, and in millions won in local pay rises. So we know that it works. Hard organising, which begins well before the ballot, identifying people who were already leaders in the workplace, picking already active members to drive out turnout, building strong networks within and between workplaces, networks based on worker-to-worker conversations, new members, new enthused members, new bonds of solidarity, all of this in every workplace, allowing for confidence in the ballot, alongside our belief in our demands and hope in the dispute. And thanks to our incredible organisers, members and staff alike. We know this works, but now we need to scale it up dramatically. And that starts with the current NJC ballot, where we're rolling out our Organising to Win model nationally, while keeping an open mind and learning lessons from other trade unions. This is a new era for UNISON, and we all have a part to play. Ballots and disputes won't be won from this podium, and they won't be won from head office. They'll be won by each and every one of you in this hall, stepping up in your workplaces, redoubling our commitment to organising our workplace members, and by all of us collectively as a union. becoming bolder, taking more risks and being confident in those risks. And it is up to us to turn UNISON into an industrial force to be reckoned with. And I truly believe we can do this, and we can do it together. And just think about what that will mean if we do. The power to take what is ours, not waiting around to be handed it. Real force behind our demands, no longer just empty ass, and deep pride to be part of UNISON, to be part of an historic project. If you support me, if you buy into this project, if we all put in the hard yards, that's where we can be in 4 years' time. A union that truly wins for members at every level, builds power for the working class, and is a real force for change in this country. But comrades, building workplace power will only go so far. So we need to build political power, our power as public service workers and the working class, especially now with the threat of the far-right government looming. Actually, that threat is already here in 24 of our local authority councils, where they are controlled by reform. Our members, they're facing it every morning when they just turn up for work. And it's already clear what Farage in power would mean. From our friends and neighbours being deported, to our movement coming under unprecedented attacks from the state. These are the stakes. That's how serious this is. We cannot afford to retreat now when this awaits for us. Look, and we've got to acknowledge Labour failing so badly in government, distant from working class communities, trashing progressive and trade union values, isn't just a disappointment, it's a total disaster. So we need to start standing on our own 2 feet politically. You know, conference for too long, our union has been subservient to the Labour Party. But our members have spoken clearly. That era must end. And conference, we need to be very clear that from now on, if politicians want our backing, they have to back us. Back UNISON members, back UNISON policies, and not just with warm words, but with actions. And under my leadership, UNISON will always put our interests first, over and ahead of politicians. And I tell you this, it'll be good for Labour too, because what I'm demanding of Labour, what we're demanding of Labour, is for their own good. Acting in our interests is in their interest. The truth is, comrades, whoever the next Labour leader is, they will crash and burn, just like the current one, unless they have the confidence to break completely with the establishment consensus. And I'm clear about what that means and what UNISON needs to see from the next Prime Minister. Repairing our broken public services through massive public investment and everything brought back in-house. Major setbacks under national public ownership, not just publicly controlled or regulated a bit more actively, standing up for progressive values, and by ending the attack on our migrants and protecting our hard-won freedoms. And last but not least, investing in our people. our schools, hospitals, councils, transport, our communities, not spending any more money on American weapons and wars abroad. We could have a totally new political approach as a union, one with your experiences, your interests, your values, as with ordinary members at its heart, one which, thanks to our size and influence, transforms British politics. But we will only get there if we all chip in and unite around that same vision, a union that is its members, a union that never again outsources our politics to anti-worker politicians. A union that can shape the future in our own image. Comrades, when we say an attack on one is an attack on all, we don't just mean here. In our workplaces and communities, within these borders, we mean everywhere. That's why we will never waver in our solidarity with the Palestinian people. Comrades, our Palestinian brothers and sisters set an example to us all. Decades of displacement, ethnic cleansing and apartheid. The last 3 years of genocide. Day after day, torture and terror. Disaster upon disaster at the hands of Israel. And yet, still, they keep struggling for their freedom. Proud, steadfast, never defeated. So I want everyone to join me in giving a massive UNISON welcome to Shahir Shahid, a distinguished Palestinian colleague at conference this year, and we'll hear from him this afternoon. Shahir, we'll hear from him this afternoon. Yeah, thank you. So Shahir is the Secretary General of the Palestinian General Federation of Trade Unions, and here alongside is his colleague Hind from the Arab Trade Union Confederation. So again, welcome. Is he not here? He's on his way, probably. And I'll say too that our solidarity with the the Cuban people, as they face down the American empire once again, they are as strong as ever, because internationalism and opposition to imperialism is core trade union business. The political and the media establishment might not like it, but it will not change. We will never abandon our comrades around the world. Comrades, there are so many reasons that I am proud to be UNISON, but there's one thing that ties us all together. That gives us all a seat at this hall, the power that goes beyond this hall. And it's this: we in UNISON can be at the forefront of change in the UK. That's partly because we are the country's lifeblood. We keep it running in every way imaginable, carrying our communities along the way, caring, educating, rescuing, nursing, cleaning, planning, protecting, housing. It means we are the majority. Because what's in your interest as a paramedic, a nurse, a porter, a librarian, a cleaner, a care worker, a police support staffer, a teaching assistant, a transport, environment or energy worker, what was in my interest as a social worker is in everybody else's interest too. That's what is so powerful about trade unions. It's why our movement can be the biggest force for change in our history. The workers' movement was described at its dawn in words I keep coming back to as a movement of the immense majority in the interest of the immense majority. Comrades, that's us. Every single one of us in the hall, every single member, that is our power. When UNISON members stand up for ourselves, we are standing up at the same time for the working class, home and abroad. We have all the ingredients to make history. We're transforming this union together, not for the sake of it, but to build a power of the working class. Power not just to improve things for ourselves, in here and now, but to win a more equal, peaceful world for everyone. Comrades, change won't come easy in UNISON. Not everyone wants to see the changes we need as fast as we need it. So I can't do it alone. I do need your support on this journey. Together we need to get to work. We've got a union to transform together, a country to change together. Conference, I want us to leave this hall feeling united, determined, with hope, being confident that we have a world to win, and conference, we can do that. Conference, are you with me? I'll leave it there then, solidarity, but I can't leave this rostrum without wishing Casey happy 15th birthday. Happy birthday. She'll be up there somewhere. Solidarity. Thank you.